So I just celebrated 32 years in long-term recovery. Addiction is so internal, too. It's in between my ears. It's the way I view life. I could stop using, but because of the way that I viewed life and love and people and the fear that I had, I would just return back. I think the biggest roadblock was myself, like just being scared. So when I got out of rehab, I didn't stay abstinent, but because I had seeds planted in that rehab, that relapse didn't last very long, only like 4 months. And then I reconnected to that recovery community that I was introduced to in the rehab. So I think that the treatment helped, in that way. It gave me education about my disease that I have, and then introduced me to the people that could help me so I didn't have to go back into treatment. So, there's some basic suggestions in the beginning of the program is like 90 meetings in 90 days and things like go to a meeting every day, unless you didn't use every day, but I used every day. So I went to a meeting every day, and that gave me a network of people that, being new in recovery, I wasn't very talkative. I wasn't very social. I had some irrational fears. I had, hard time communicating with just people. But by following those simple suggestions of like 90 meetings in 90 days, it gave me people to talk to and friends despite me, and some solid people who just wanted to help me. I think people in recovery, people who have substance use disorder or addiction, however you want to call it, are just super feelers. Like we feel deeply. We don't just feel sad. We feel suicidal. I'm not just happy. I'm ecstatic. And it's those emotional, highs and lows that earth people, as I call them, don't relate to so much. So having other super feelers around helps normalize my life, I have friends in recovery who I talk to honestly and openly about how I feel. That's really super important, people to really share what you're really thinking and feeling. I think if you could just tell the people who are in recovery that they can make a difference, that the things that they've experienced, as barriers to them, that they can now step up, maybe even come out of anonymity and change their community through advocacy, through the emergency rooms and the politicians and stuff, because the system isn't set up to hear the voice of people in recovery. We can't do it alone, and we can't do it across the state. And I want to encourage other people to come together and do the things that they know, man, if only we had this or that, or if I could just tell that hospital, or my experience there was, that we can actually come together and address some of these issues to fight the stigma. Because stigma is one thing, but the results of stigma are death and isolation and families being destroyed and poverty and depravity, right? So it's serious. It's not just, I don't want to tell people that I'm in recovery on Facebook because my boss will know. It's like, people who are desperately wanting help and wanting the help. Stigma prevents them from getting the help. And we end up with HIV and hepatitis C and destroyed families, I think, is the hardest thing. When it comes to recovery, hard moments are, watching somebody who struggles with addiction go to the emergency room and be turned away. Seeing people who want help and not be able to find it or get it. And seeing a lot of people die now with the epidemic. A lot of friends and family members die, and know that there's things that we could do, but they need work and money and advocacy. That's hard. And I guess that's why I'm in this seat, because it's like, I know we can do better. recovery is possible. My name is Jennifer Turk, and I'm grateful for every day that I'm in recovery, and I won't be stopped by the stigma of addiction.